Hallo? Hallo? Test. Test, 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 Test. Test, 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 Test. Test, 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 Test. Da kann ich. So, Test, 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 Test. Jetzt höre ich mich einfach selber. Wie nervig ist das denn? Wie kann ich denn das einstellen, dass ich mich nicht mehr selber höre? So, Test, 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 Test. Test, 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 Test. Test, 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 Test. Test, 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 Test. Und darf ich nicht beides drin haben? Darf ich nicht beides drin haben? So. Die kommt als Headset. So. Darf ich nicht beides drin haben? So. Aber das Mikro ein bisschen lauter. Die kommt als Headset. So. Darf ich nicht beides drin haben? So. Okay. Aber das Mikro ein bisschen lauter. Die kommt als Headset. So. Sag mal, das hat nur daran gelegen. So. Da ba 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 da ba da ba 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 da ba ba ba. Da 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 ba da ba 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 da ba da ba 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 da. Ba 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 da ba da ba 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 da. Ba da ba 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Ba da ba 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 da. Ba 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 ba.
Once upon a time, the infamous rover Renardo plundered the floating isles. Then his mother called him to her deathbed. "Swear to me that you won't die on the gallows," she rasped. Reluctantly, he swore. And he
Ba
was
da
on the
ba
way to
ba da ba da ba ba. Ba da ba 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 ba. Kurzer Test, ob die Audio auch richtig funktioniert. Kann man mich hören? Warte, das ist ja Ausgabe. Ähm. So, hallo, Test, 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 Test. Kann man mich hören? Lilly, kannst du mich hören? Was zum Fick ist das denn? Hm. Hallo. Das Game nicht? Ah, Mist. Warte, da muss ich aber kurz raus. Tabben. Hierhin. Spielaufnahme. Okay, das da, das da, das da. Hat man jetzt? Lilly, hört man jetzt? So komplizierte Technik von heute. So, Lilly, kann man jetzt das Spiel hören? Oder ist immer noch... So, und einmal hier. Uch. Wie kann das denn sein? Der holdes Blitz hier. Doch! Geil! Zu laut oder zu leise? Warte, ich schwing mal kurz. Prima, passt alles? Na gut, ich gehe mal davon aus, du tust es dann anpassen. Ja, so wie es aussieht, muss ich ja von vorne anfangen. So wie es aussieht, hätte ich doch vergessen, die hier aus der Cloud zu
Two
speichern.
ravens were staring at the kid like he was their dinner, which probably was what was in their tiny brains. Hey, Bernardo said. They cocked their heads at him. Pick on someone as ugly as you. Wait, that didn't come out right. For the Emperor! The ravens cawed and rushed at him.
Boah, ich kann den gar nicht aufsammeln. Na gut, dass wir die ganzen Mechanics schon drauf haben.
He hoped they hadn't noticed him. The kid. Oh, right. The Gate of Heroes. Someone's idea of a joke. Making the skyship docks a gated community. You needed a hero sword to open it. The kid was on the
Ich
other
brauche
side of the
unbedingt einen
gate.
zweiten Monitor, damit ich hier in
Promise me
Ruhe
you'll take the book to the
gucken kann.
rebels, or I'm gonna steal your ship. I'm not taking the damn book anywhere, and neither are you. Try and stop me, laughed the kid. I bet you don't even have a hero sword. And with that, The kid hopped away.
Ich muss mir zuerst ein neues Case kaufen, damit ich meinen PC halt erstmal da schön anpassen kann. Ah, kann übrigens sein, dass zwischendurch eventuell jemand kommt, mir Essen bringt. Ich habe mir Pasta bestellt. Pasta Diavolo. Ohne Oliven. Weil ich bin echt kein Fan von Oliven. Ah, und zocken tue ich wahrscheinlich bis 22 Uhr. Weil ansonsten hier meine Freundin ein bisschen sauer wird. Ich hatte ihr versprochen, heute Abend so gegen 9 Zeit anzurufen. Also ja. Dann morgen und morgen und Mittwoch. Obwohl Mittwoch schon eher. Wird halt ein bisschen schwierig, da ich dann bei ihr bin. Ich habe Mittwoch frei. Und dann, ja, ist halt. Ah ja, und ich gebe mir gerade noch Bescheid. So. Zack.
Ore and wind essence? Perfect.
Oh, meine Nase. Oh, meine Nase.
A hero sword. QED.
Oh. So schlimm mit der Nase aktuell. Ich weiß nicht warum, ich bin heute Morgen aufgestanden, Nase zu. Und das den ganzen Tag schon.
This is what he got for settling down and finding people to care about. The kid's mum had been a swell cook and she'd laughed at Renado's jokes.
Zack.
When he didn't know he'd made one. And the ravens had
Ich
come
muss
to
mal sagen,
burn.
heute war ein echt teurer Tag. Ich habe allein für
Honest to
Karuta,
protect the
glaube
kid.
ich,
But she never told him where the book was. Just the kid.
230 Euro ausgegeben? Nur für Karuta?
He came up to a ledge. It was too far to jump. There'd been a bridge here before, hadn't there? And there was Peter, giggling at him. How'd you get across? He asked the kid. Where'd you find a hook? I harped, said the kid.
Meine Frage, Lilly, kann man eigentlich auch, wenn man jetzt streamen möchte, kann man das auch direkt über Discord machen? Also Discord leisten und dann startet das auch über hier, ja, ich weiß, dass das noch mehr geht, aber dennoch, ich meine, war trotzdem vergleichsweise teuer.
It was time to talk some sense into the kid. Just hook his way across the ledge and chase the kid down. Thing was, he hadn't used his hook since he'd retired. How had he done it? Maybe if he meditated at that altar there, he'd remember his old skills.
Ui. Ich wollte fragen, ob es möglich ist, über Steam, also nicht über Steam, wenn ich jetzt Discord starte und darüber livestreame, dann ist ja normalerweise so, dass man halt nur mit auf dem Server dann streamen kann. Kann man das dann auch theoretisch irgendwie auch direkt über hier Discord auf YouTube streamen? Also jetzt ohne vorher auf OBS oder so gehen zu müssen? Also, dass ich theoretisch Discord als Aufnahmeprogramm benutze. Ich kann's doch. Ah.
She was the fastest
Schade.
ship he'd ever known. She could do the Kessel Run in
Wär cool
12
gewesen.
furlongs. Well, so the salesman had told him. And something told him the kid was about to walk into an ambush. Stop! He shouted. I'm not giving you the book! Shouted the kid, and took off. No! Peter! The kid ran for it. And a goggler nailed him with
Tot.
its ivy.
Zack.
The book was unburned.
Da ist er schon Asche.
Next
Der
to
Arme.
it were the buckles from the kid's shoes.
So, ich würde sagen, dieses Mal
Kid-sized
gehen
pile
wir...
of ashes. Damn it. Why hadn't he lied and told the kid he'd take the book to the rebels?
Was wäre
The
ein
kid will be
cooler Weg
alive
jetzt?
Really pissed off and betrayed, but alive. Oh, damn it. Renato picked up the book. He couldn't let the Empire.
Ich würde sagen, wir spielen den Verräter.
He was going to have to get it out of there.
Ich helfe dem
He'd be a
Hasen,
wanted man.
bringe ihn zur
Probably have to
Basis.
join the rebellion just to have a place to dock. Well, he'd hated home life anyway.
Und dann easy peasy. Das Gefühl hätte ich jetzt auch nicht gebraucht. Ey!
What was the big deal?
Nee!
Book.
Ey! Die Frucht wollte ich noch essen!
Open it and
Lilly!
find
Die
out.
Frucht wollte ich noch essen! Wie unfair!
All that had been how many? Oh, it's a blur. And now 3 Raven scout ships were chasing him. Where are you running, you rebel? Cawed the Raven captain over the loud hailer. Renato could see them cranking up their catapults. Just going out for a bit? Renato yelled back. Where can you run? Horribly. Far behind him. The dark crowd of its island was compact. Fleet was doing a thorough job. For the rebel base, I will spare your life. The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the coast. Beyond that, only the pillars of heaven. Endless blood-colored tornado. The rebellion was out of time. Unless Renato could bring a game changer.
Ah ja, übrigens hatte ich auch gerade erzählt. Ich habe vorhin auch noch, bei dem Messstop hatte ich auch noch eine Single-Print ergattern können.
Sky Ripper, the legendary weapon that had exiled the lost gods.
Von hier.
Legendary weapon would win the
Singleprint
final
2
battle.
Reverse 1999.
His old friend Lapino had sent Renato a desperate message saying he had a brilliant scheme to save the rebellion. If Renato could only rescue him. Renato dived the Farfarer towards the abyss. At the heat of the jet stream, the
Party.
Raven ships peeled off, not stable enough to follow him.
Ah, schau, ich habe den
Now it was
niedrigsten.
time to choose. Lapino or the Sky River.
Aber... Ah, ich hatte auch die schlechteste Variante davon bekommen. Ach, leck mich. Warum kriege ich immer das Schlechte? So, hier.
Lapino. Apparently the mad rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not
Aber egal,
exactly
bin 2
own.
bin 2.
Lapino always wiggled out of trouble given time. But he was out of time.
Genau, Frage ist eher,
The Ravens had
behalten
figured
oder
out that
verkaufen?
Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged
B.
horse.
Na, nicht in 71. Ja. Machen wir.
Lapino
Zack.
had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen a winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens? There was an inscription, no spitting. The Ravens had taken the town. Renato had seen villages emptied like this. All the people taken away to be sacrificed in the Emperor's secret rituals. Renato hoped the people were just hiding. Renato's blood was up. He just needed to smash something.
Das geht mir kaputt. Das ist eigentlich der richtige Weg. Das sieht aus, als wäre das nur mal der richtige Weg.
Firewalls only let you through if they think you're hot enough.
Zack. Mann. Da kommt der. Oh. Hopp. Husch.
Ravens were landing everywhere. The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Where had the mad rabbit got to?
So, einmal das da an. Ach, Mann. Eine arme Nase.
Renato felt like he was ready to learn new things. It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot, like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Kommt her!
I never get tired of doing that, thought Renato.
Hallo, ich hab drauf. Hallo! Frechheit, Betrug! Ich hab drauf gedrückt.
Renato felt a little better.
Little. Oh, der müsste doch gleich hier sein. Gut. Wusch. Oh, und Full Life, perfekt. So wie ich es liebe. Ah, guck mal, da ist er doch.
Dirty and bloody, Renato finally reached Lapino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Renato recognized the cards. It was Lapino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, see, this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia. We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer and, oh, his only daughter. That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power. To make the Sky Ripper, the Transcendent Emperor had wrapped an armature around the eye of a god. Bernardo had already let that armature slip away to save Lapino's life. But even its core, the eye torn from a god, surely they could fashion a great weapon from that. The core of the Sky Ripper? Lapino's excited. That's an actual thing that we could just go and get. You've been busy. He sure had. Renato told him all the things he'd been up to. Soon they got to talking about old times, about wages they'd won and lost, and scrapes they'd barely got out of. It was good to be back with his friend. Renato grinned. He had a very good feeling about this.
Ah ja, good
It's
feeling.
beautiful here, thought Renato. He was thrilled to be back with his old war buddy. He missed the mad rabbit, but something was not quite right.
Cool.
Have you ever felt you were just going round in circles? Bernardo felt like that.
Whoosh.
There was something sour
Nee,
in
ich kenne
the
die andere
air.
Richtung.
Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time. And this is why heroes are called dashing, Renato thought. See? Dashing? Get it?
Ja.
Where did that go to?
Easy lemon squeezy.
Renato felt wrong all over. He could feel an almost palpable sickness in the air. And if the land could have tumors, they would look like these monstrous crystals. The forest was quieter than it had been. There were insects, but few birds, if you didn't count the ravens. Renato smelled sick animals and dying ones.
Ben, das ist so
No
schlimm.
healthy ones. I'm getting a bad feeling about this.
Nehmen
Renato
wir.
thought. Maybe Lapino was right. Maybe they should have kidnapped Zenobia instead of coming here. missed his old skills. He welcomed them back like he was at a reunion.
Ey, schau dir das mal an, ey. Das waren alle erledigt. Wie ein richtiger Profispieler.
As he held the radiant
Das war einfach ein Pro-Gamer-Moment.
Renato felt queasy, like dozens of tiny worms were nibbling his insides. It wasn't healthy to be so close to the eye of a god. How could he use it? He could take it to the observatory. The scientists there could tell him how to harness its ancient power. Honestly, Renato ached to get away from it. He brought the core back with him to the Farfarer. But honestly, Renato ached to be rid of it. Tell you what, said Lupino. I'll take it to the observatory. You attack the Imperial outpost. The Imperial outpost was a vital communications node. Taking it could shatter the Empire's ability to coordinate. And it would be full of secret plans and maps and maybe even rebel prisoners. It was a good target for a hero like Renato. But what if Lupino got the core and then broke it or lost it? Or worse, was Renato ready to take that risk? Maybe it was better if he brought the core to the scientists himself.
Wenn ich das mache würden.
Trust me, Renato, you won't regret this. I'll treat the core like it was my own baby daughter. As the Farfarer dived towards the Nexus, Lupino was
Das war
jumping
wahrscheinlich auch
up
ein
and down
Fehler.
with excitement.
Beides ist geil.
Stop rabbiting around, Renato said. Lupino just stared at him. The moment the ship landed, Lupino leapt off the ship.
Ich bin mir so sicher, dass das ein Fehler war.
As Lupino vanished into the wilds of the Nexus, Renato vaguely remembered Lupino had a baby daughter, didn't he? And he told her mother he was going out to get some Easter eggs, and he'd never come back. But Renato was relieved not to carry the core anymore. He was already feeling better. And who knows, maybe this time Lupino
Ach, Lilly,
would
das
get
Spiel
it
ist echt
right.
geil.
And if Renato could take the outpost, he'd have
Echt,
access
danke
to all the
für die
Empire's
Empfehlung.
communications in the sector, right? I wonder what I could make with all these sword crafting materials, thought Renato. Who needed bridges anyway?
Ah, guck mal. Easy, ich bin einfach unbesiegbar.
Smashing things was fun. Renato caught his breath. His joints still hurt, but he couldn't feel the poison in his system anymore.
Nein, 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 nein,
His
nein!
hands to save his friend.
Ah!
Of course he had to let Lapino take the core.
Verdammt!
Rebellion needed every man doing his duty. And the rabbit would be no good taking on an Imperial outpost, right? A crafting bench. Renato wondered what he could make with it.
Oh. Jetzt hat es seine Magie. Wie cool. Hm. Ich bin unbesiegbar!
Renato took the outpost with a song in his heart. Soon he was stuffing his sack with key messages from and to the fleet. One message caught his attention. A high priority order has been given by the Emperor himself to locate something called the Iblis Stone. It was somewhere on a desert island. Renato had a bad feeling about this. Iblis was the name of one of the lost gods. If the Emperor was diverting ravens to search for it, maybe he should try to find it first. Then the Far Speaker Toad chortled a new message. The observatory had been sacked by ravens. Lapino and all the scientists had been taken to the mountains. Why? Why had he trusted Lapino again? And now the Empire had the core. Renato hailed the rebel base to warn them. But their Far Speaker didn't crout back. Was the base under attack too? Lapino would have to wait. The core would have to wait. Renato had a very bad feeling that something was going terribly wrong at the rebel base. Its location was secret, but secrets can be discovered. There were Imperials everywhere in the ruins, and dead civilians. The ravens were killing everything in sight. Renato was relieved to see no rebels among the dead.
Das ist so geil.
Maybe the secret base was still secret, but there were huge burn marks on buildings. What monstrous weapon was the Empire using here? The core had great power. Had they harnessed it somehow, even though they didn't have the armature?
Bist du eigentlich noch da, Lilly?
Renato hoped his mother wasn't watching.
Gut. Ich krieg halt so wenig mit, vor allem weil es auch noch so ein langer Delay ist. Ich hab schon Angst, der hat mich verlassen. Voll eine gute Idee hier, das aufs Mann.
This chest made music when you opened it. Too bad it was music.
What? Ja, 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 ja!
He wasn't that good. Yet.
Okay, da geht's. Dann kann ich halt leider nichts machen.
Can't we just agree to disagree? Said Renato. No?
Ach Mann, ich wollte eigentlich... Dann rennen wir einmal nach hier hin, weil da hinten habe ich mich im Gegensatz hierzu... Ach du Heilige. Einfach zu gut.
He could smell charred flesh and hear screams. The ruins were on fire. But the Ravens had rigged up the core as some kind of burning ray. They wouldn't need to know the secret location. They were burning everything. It was killing them too. Their black feathers littered the path. He would have to take the
Ich
core
tue mich mal
from them.
stumm,
It was the
Lilly.
last thing he wanted to do.
Mein Freund hat gerade geschrieben, ihr geht's nicht so gut.
These things could really use a hand. Huh? A lever? That was new. Most people still use doorknobs. The rebel base seemed quiet. That was good. Also, it seemed to be burning. That wasn't so good. Hero wall. Hero sword. Ice wall. Ice. As the last raven fell, Renato felt worse than he ever had. The core was killing him, again. The council members cautiously came out into the smoke. "You saved us," croaked the speaker. They would put the weaponized core deep in a cavern, she promised, where its poison could harm no one. They would heal him if they could, she said. No, it's a weapon now. We need one. I'll lead the charge. "It will kill you," croaked the speaker. "I guess it already has," Renato said. She bobbed her head gravely. "When all this is over," she said, "we'll name our new capital city for you." He flew towards the Imperial fleet, a myriad ships in disciplined formation, waiting for the signal to destroy the rebellion forever. Behind him, the rebels were charging. If he failed, they would die. And so the final battle began. Everything hurt. It was unpleasant to fight this way. With each blow he struck with his sword, he felt weaker. Yet each time the core fired, it got brighter. As if the heat from the burning ravens and buildings only fed its hunger. He wondered where Lupino was. Wasn't he supposed to be in the battle? No. He'd been captured, hadn't he? Oh, Renato's mind was smoky now, like the burning fleet. He hoped this wouldn't take long. Swell. He'd always wanted to do that. No skateboarding, the sign said. Having a pet. Well, like having a goblin for a pet. Leonardo-opolis. Vulpus Major. Lando Nardo. If they were going to name a capital city after him, well, he just wished he had a better name. Where was Lupino? He missed Lupino's bitter outbursts. Or did he? Lupino had gotten him into this mess, hadn't he? The core was a wonderful weapon. It swept fire across the fleet. Ravens exploded in its gaze, and with every heartbeat, it grew brighter. He would die. But he would die every inch a hero. Spectacularly, changing history like the legendary heroes of lore. Or was it sure. No, he couldn't remember anymore. Already, Renato knew more than he ever had. But about what? Renato fell to his knees. The Emperor's bodyguards were lined up before his ship. Fierce ravens, all. And Zenobia. She was conjuring. He could not take another step. All he could do was fire the core. The ravens, Zenobia, the ship, all burst into flames, disintegrated, and blew away. So they had one, after all. The core grew brighter. He shielded his eyes, but he could still see it through his sleeves and through the flesh of his arm. And then he felt heat, as the fire grew to consume both fleets. And then he felt nothing. Okay, that was weird. He could have sworn he just died. Instead, he was on the Farfarer, sailing away from Ubar. And it was still burning. He'd fled burning Ubar years ago, hadn't he? And now he was back there. Had all those years fighting the Empire been nothing but a vision into the future? A useful vision if it was true. He'd learned something. The core was powerful, but dangerous if used improperly.
Ich gehe dann jetzt mal kurz essen. Ich komme gleich nochmal. So. Ich weiß nicht, ob du da bist. Hörst du mich? Wenn ja, guck mal in den Morphing Channel und sag mir, was du von dem, also davon hältst. Das ist, ich finde persönlich, das ist nämlich ein echt kranker Morph. Aber ich hatte halt leider absolut keine Farbe, die passend dazu ist. Aber wirklich gar keine. Muss ich nachher suchen. Na gut, jedenfalls du spielst jetzt mal kurz stumm. Du willst sie nochmal anrufen. Quatsch mit ihr ein bisschen. Das Rot ist das Standard. Wenn ich hier... Nicht KFR, KMR. KMR. Guck mal. Rot ist bei dem Frame Standardfarbe. Deswegen habe ich das weggenommen. Ja, ich weiß, den Morph da, den tue ich ja eh jetzt nur fürs erste behalten. Werde den wahrscheinlich dann auf einer Raid oder so packen. Vielleicht auch auf einer Yamiko, wenn ich irgendwann einen bekomme. Oder vielleicht tue ich auch den Morph einfach verkaufen. Kann ich auch machen. Gibt ja safe Leute, die einen schwarz-weiß Morph mit lila kaufen würden. Bin ich mir sicher. Aber jo. Oh Mann. Pasta Diavolo. Echt lecker. So, gut. Dann einmal stumm.
He'd made bad choices. But now, when the real battle came, he wouldn't make those choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his adventure was just beginning. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Renardo knew that using it could go catastrophically wrong, but he was sure he could figure out how to use it safely. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renardo. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Lapino was no game changer, but could Renardo really leave an old friend to the Ravens? The island was windswept desert. No one went there except ostriches and ostrich hunters. The Iblis stone. It sounded ominous. It sounded powerful. If the Emperor was searching for it, it must be dangerous. And so, Renardo went ostrich hunting. Every child could sing verses about the Sky Ripper, but ancient codices held hints of other things. A stone that ate souls, a ruby that drank blood, a jewel only a righteous man could give away. Were all these things the Iblis stone? long hidden in a buried temple. Another ancient item that was only resurfacing now. Drawn up from the deeps by the Emperor's horrific rituals. Well, no sense collecting more materials. It was time to make something pointy. Renato distrusted doors that opened automatically, especially after being buried for millennia. Was this some sort of trap? Ravens were already here, cawing in frustration. They were still searching for a way in. Good. Then he hadn't come too late. Sharp? Check. Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword? Renato had been the terror of the sandcastles when he was two. He'd once met a pirate captain. He used hooks to get around his ship. Oh, what was his name again? Sweet! A gem. All he needed now was a workbench, and he could slot it into his gauntlet. How could a temple to Iblis still even exist? The Transcendent Emperor had destroyed all the shrines of the lost gods after exiling them. Had it been buried in that long-ago battle? Or had Iblis foreseen his fate and hidden it from his enemy? Renato wondered if he could learn to cook this way. Probably not. The Ravens at least could not get past this point. Obviously, the temple builders knew how to deal with tomb raiders. Cool. Wish I could do that. This couldn't be good for global warming. It was a stone of the purest blackness. It reflected no light, like a void made solid. Nervous, he picked it up. I can make you mighty. Who said that? Give me blood. It was the stone. Eager, thirsty. Kill the Emperor's daughter. That seemed tempting and terribly wrong. Zenobia was the Emperor's greatest general and a potent witch. But they had been close once, and Renato wasn't sure he really wanted to be Emperor. Why not capture the core of Sky Ripper instead? It was the eye of a lost god torn out by the Transcendent Emperor to power his greatest weapon. Not the core, said the stone anxiously. Listening to a talking rock? Ah, but the rock had a point. If the stone could truly turn him into a powerful warrior, he could defeat the Emperor with the very weapon the wicked old toad had sought for himself. To be a hero, you had to sacrifice old friends sometimes. especially when they've become enemies. As he placed the impossibly black crystal in his gauntlet, Renato had a sudden vision. Charred fields covered in dead ravens below a black sun.
Was it the time of the lost gods before the transcendent emperor? Was it the future? Feed these souls, it whispered. Take the power. He could feel the stone's hunger for souls, its thirst for blood. All right, I get it.
This was going to be interesting.
Gogglers. Renato hated gogglers.
It was almost impossible to sneak past them. If one didn't spot you, another one would. Well, the eyes have had it. Zenobia was waiting for Renato. She was alone, confident as always. Fire danced at the tips of her claws.
Are you here to surrender?
She seemed as cocksure as he felt. But she didn't know he had the stone.
And I've missed you too, love. He chuckled.
She spotted the stone and bolted without another word. If I craft a sword now, it's going to be really short. The ravens on Zenobia's island were no match for Renato. They screamed as the stones sucked out their souls. And with each death, he felt stronger. Take the power, the stone told him. Finally, Renato caught up to her. He had never seen her scared before. At school, she'd been the determined, brave one. Now her eyes were wide, frightened. He didn't like seeing her this way.
Kill her, whispered the stone. You cannot win your rebellion without it.
Please.
No, said Zenobia. Not that way.
Oh, they had been so close once. Could he really feed her soul to his demonic gem? But if he spared her, he would not get the full power of the stone. Oh, how could he be the hero he wanted to be? With a flick of his wrist, he slashed Zenobia's throat. Her eyes widened even more. And then the light went out of them. Renato felt
Amazing. Power was rushing into him like water from a burst dam. Such brilliance. Exulted the Iblis stone. Tasty. Renato returns to the Farfarer and set a course for the Nexus. The Empire had a communication outpost there. He could call the Emperor directly. It was time to seize the outpost and let the Emperor know what he had done. The Nexus was beautiful. He'd never realized how beautiful. Everything glowed. The wind was so sweet. The sun so soft. The stones so warm. The black raven feathers. Black feathers. Suddenly, his eyes are filled with them. He's falling through smoke under a dead sun. A voice calls him home. Is this a vision? Whose? Is this the time of the lost gods? Or the future? No matter. What mattered now was killing his way to the Imperial outpost and challenging the Emperor from there. Oh, they really ought to put a railing on this thing, he thought. Time, boys! Caught the lead raven. It was definitely easier to fight inanimate objects. Up ahead was Latino. What was he doing here? Bernardo! Hey, buddy! Hey there, old man! Please don't kill me! Why would I kill you? Asked Bernardo. Although, thinking about it. And I mean, no disrespect at all. Kind of evil? Maybe. You should, I don't know, go to the mountains to have a think. See if maybe you're sure the stone is not all that healthy a thing to keep. I suppose you could, Ronaldo said. Poked Latino in the chest for emphasis. Oh, he just killed Latino. Damn it. He'd go to the outpost, use their far speaker, tell the Emperor what he'd done, and then he'd go to the secret rebel base, let them know he was ready to lead them to victory. I need more materials, thought Renato. Renato rampaged through the Imperial outpost like a water buffalo rampaging. At the last moment, he remembered not to kill the Far Speaker Toad. After all, he wanted a word with the Emperor. But there was only silence. The Emperor was scared, like little girl. Well, he would gather the rebel army and slaughter the Imperial fleet. Yes! Applauded the Iblistone. Tremendous. Then the Emperor would have to answer his Far Speaker, wouldn't he? Who are you? Asked a distant voice that sounded uncomfortably like Zenobia. What have you become? The mountains. Go to the mountains, urged another that sounded a bit like Lapino. What are you doing? Demanded the Iblistone. I need to think, Renato told it. You're not good at thinking, said the Iblistone. You're good at killing. It's what you do. It's your destiny. But he set sail for the mountains, where he could be alone with his thoughts. Why were there Raven Scouts here in the empty mountains? Was there nowhere he could find peace and quiet? There were other ravens here too. Shadowy ones, transparent, lining the path. Ghosts. They cawed as he passed, but they didn't try to stop him. Spectators. Had he really killed that many ravens?
I'm sorry. Was that your shield? Beautifully. Where was a bard when you needed one?
Then he saw her. Zenobia. She was a ghost too. She ran off when she saw him. How could a ghost be afraid? He followed her. He had to.
Well, they really needed to redecorate anyway.
If only he had some way to break the ice. Or convince it he was a friend.
This was definitely better than pulling yourself up in a bucket.
Renato followed Zenobia's ghost. Had he gone mad, seeing ghosts? Was she running from him or leading him somewhere? He'd come here to be alone, but he'd never been less alone in his life. Every raven he had slain haunted these rocks. Was this who he was? A killer? He was terribly good at killing. He was an adventurer. Or was that just another word for killer? You kill, whispered the stone. It is what your masters of. Embrace this destiny.
He was sort of yanking his own shade, wasn't he? Tried, focused on the job he had to do. The rebellion. Wasn't there a battle coming soon? Oh, there'd be ravens to kill. Even an emperor. Such killing. Much wow. Oh, he'd never been so excited. At the end of the mountain path, Zenobia awaited him. He could see right through her. "Why did you kill me?" she said. "I was your prisoner, and I loved you." "I needed the power," he said. "Haven't you heard? There's a war on." "Then what's your excuse for killing me?" asked his old friend Lapino, stepping out of the shadows. Renato didn't have an answer for that. The demon has twisted you," said Zenobia. "Abandon the stone. You've lost too much already." Her words bit deeper than any sword ever had. So he shook his head, and once again swung his blade through her and Lapino. It had to all mean something. If he gave up the stone now, he would have sacrificed Zenobia and Lapino for nothing. So Renato set course for the Imperial fleet, where he would end it all. The Emperor, the war, the madness. Renato boarded an Imperial ship. No one could stop him slashing his way towards the Emperor. Yes, that was right. To give up now would be to lose everything for nothing. But if he could liberate the land from the Mad Emperor, then he could give up the stone in peace. And those were absolutely his own thoughts, not the stone manipulating him, right? "Oh, yes," exulted the stone. "Feel your power. We'll make history today." He could hear a tiny voice within him. "Don't kill the Emperor. The stone will eat your soul." Was it madness? have to kill the Emperor, he told himself. That's what it meant to be a hero. To do what had to be done, no matter how terrible the cost.
Yes. And then you can have peace.
Promised the stone. I think this is yours, said Reynardo, but he couldn't hear his enemy's answer. There were stickers all over the platform for really hot lady foxes, with pictures and addresses and everything. If they didn't want their things broken, they really ought to make them stronger. What else could you hook? Wasn't making a dent in those shields. The tiny voice, whatever it was silent. He couldn't see ghosts around him, but he could feel them. If he gave up now, they would be angry. They would have all died for nothing. Who could give up this kind of power? Could anyone? Oh, he was just a fox with a talent for swordplay. How had this burden come to him? The Emperor offered the sword. Then peace. Yes, peace. That is what he wanted now. But was this fruit local? That's what Reynardo wanted to know.
word. Renato told the corpses. It was something he'd seen in a play once.
So. Ah, ich muss da gerade jetzt mal kurz was machen. Geht nicht anders. Äh, ähm, ich muss aber jetzt den Stream kurz beenden, dann. Ja, das geht so.